Hey, and welcome to Grindcast, the official podcast of grindedword.com. As always, I'm Matt, and today I have...
Will.
And Jason.
And a very special guest on the show today.
Hi, I'm Brian Keene.
All right. So, why don't you tell everybody about you that might not know everything that I have in this book about you?
I live down here on the river, and I'm currently between homes, and Matt was kind enough to let me crash on his couch.
That is very nice of you.
Yeah.
Generous.
I
man,
wash his
this
Hawaiian
Matt.
t-shirts for him all the time.
No, I'm,
Tommy Bahamas.
I mean, how do I talk about myself without sounding like, an arrogant ass?
Hey, that's the best way to do it.
I'm a horror novelist.
You let someone else do it for you.
All right, yeah, we should.
Well, I'll try my best. You want me to talk about you? So
Let me see your show notes first.
from what I've gathered off of Wikipedia,
Oh, God.
which is the most accurate source on the internet, it mentions you live in York. It doesn't mention where you exactly live,
That's
which
by
is good.
design.
Just very good.
That's by design.
It credits you for, I'm trying to remember which book it was. You're credited basically alongside of the Walking Dead writer and
A couple
28 days later.
Yeah.
28 Days Later for rejuvenating the zombies.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So if you're sick of zombies, you're welcome. That was...
Thanks to your book, The Rising.
Yep, 2003, my first published novel. See, Jason's on the ball.
He's getting a raise. He's getting a raise.
The notes.
He's very dapper and he's got his notes.
Yeah, I was very lucky. My first novel was about zombies, and nobody was really doing zombies at the time. And
Yeah.
it came out the same year as the Walking Dead comic started, and same year 28 Days Later came out, and all three of us just seemed to tap into that zeitgeist, and we were all very, very lucky, very incredibly lucky with that.
So you guys were kind of like, that machine was brewing during that whole like boring vampire phase.
Oh, yeah.
that was going around.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You guys saw like, oh god, fucking vampires are twinkling now. We gotta fix this
Well,
shit.
and it's not even, it's not even vampires. It's vampires that are hanging out in the cemetery, smoking clove cigarettes, listening to Bauhaus. I wouldn't mind vampires if they'd give them back their fucking teeth, but
Right?
am I allowed to say that? Is your mom gonna holler?
That's his mom. My
It's
mom.
your mom?
Yeah,
Okay.
My mom doesn't know how technology works.
And yeah, I've been lucky enough to follow that up with 43 more books, and I've written comics.
Some of them
I've
were
written
made into movies. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, it's
How
been
does that feel though? Like, if somebody made a movie off of something I wrote, I would just, I don't know. Me personally, I just feel like,
You mean bursting?
you're kidding me, right?
at first it's awesome. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's the greatest thing in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, it's maybe they'll do a good job, maybe they won't.
So like
That is
the-
always the problem.
The
Yeah.
realization of it starts setting in. You're like, oh shit. I hope
Exactly, because it's not just you and the director and the producer and the screenwriter. There's also all the other people involved. People in suits who you've never met, who show up on the set when you're there and explain to you that, your novel about zombies, which is being turned into a movie, is now going to have the zombies taken out of it, So at the end of the day, it's a paycheck, and it's a very nice paycheck. I'm not going to lie, that it can be life-saving money.
Right.
However, I think Stephen King said it best. If you don't like the adaptation of the novel, well, the novel is still there on the shelf. It doesn't ruin anything. You can pull the book back down and read it the way you remember it.
I kind of wish he followed those same words with The Shining, though. But I mean, he could say that, but
Then
it's
he
like, I
gets
want that
mad.
guy from Wings. We're gonna make the topiaries come alive. It's spooky.
Steve, I didn't know they were going to do this, honestly.
Are you good friends with him?
I
I wrote a book. My hand got in the face cam for some reason.
It's like puppet theater.
Hi, Steve. So then, yeah, you've written many novels.
I have.
And then they got adapted into movies, but you also dipped into the comic book world.
I did.
Doctor Who? Did you do comics
Well,
for Doctor
no,
Who? or is
that was prose.
Okay, so
Yep.
that's where Wikipedia fails me.
Yep. I wrote for Marvel, I've written for DC, I've written for Dark Horse, I've written for Antarctic Press. I had something in the works with Archie that I got paid for, and then it got canceled.
Well, you got paid for it, so.
Yeah, I got paid for it. They can do whatever they want.
That
with
wasn't
it.
the Afterlife stuff. Was
No, it was
okay.
their Dark Circle line.
Oh, okay, the Dark Circle.
Yeah.
Now, you kind of have a little sore spot with DC, don't you? Are we allowed to talk about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
You can talk to me about anything. I have a sore spot
Okay.
with comics in general. Right now.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people
Yeah.
do that worked in it
You
for a
know,
while.
I grew up in the late 70s, early 80s, and I was a comic book kid. I didn't want to be a horror novelist. You know, when
Okay.
I started, I wanted to be Steve Gerber. I wanted to be J.M. DeMatteis. You know, these were the authors I looked up to. They were
Okay.
writing the stuff I wanted to read. You know, as I became a teenager, of course, I discovered prose, and it was Stephen King and Richard Lehman, F. Paul Wilson. But,
Yeah.
But comics were still my thing. But I tried breaking into comics and couldn't do it. Everybody kept saying, "Well, you got to become a writer first, and then we'll hire you." So, I think I had.
That's kind of like you need experience before you can get a job, but I
Yeah.
need a job before I can get experience.
Yeah, so I guess I had maybe 6 novels under my belt, and I was at a big industry trade show, and this guy from Marvel, Ryan Panagos, Agent M,
Okay. Yeah.
on
Okay.
Twitter, he comes up to me, and, hey, big fan of your stuff, and I see that he works for Marvel. I'm like, hey, I'm a big fan of you guys. He's like, we should talk. So he put me in touch with editor there, Warren Simons, and they wanted to be in the Brian Keene business. Somebody said it wasn't Warren; it was somebody above him. I think it was Tom Brevoort.
I can't wait for that. It's like somebody like, we want to get into that, whatever it is you guys do.
I just want you to take off that pork pie hat, dude. But I pitched all kinds of things. I pitched Kazar, Man Thing, all the characters I had a love for, the Defenders,
Yeah.
Luke Cage, all the stuff that they weren't doing at the time that I wanted to see. And they finally settled on Devil Slayer, who was this obscure character from the Defenders that I think maybe I was the only one that remembered.
I can't.
I can't say I
I love
remember.
comics and I don't remember.
So
them.
I pitched this whole thing. It was during the death of Captain America storyline, and I pitched
okay.
this soldier in Iraq and how the death of Captain America affects him, and how he's going to become a superhero and this and that. I'd written it got approved. I'd written the first script, and then they came back and they said, "Well, no, you can't do that. We're going to make this a Max series," which was their adult line.
The adult, yeah.
So it has to be out of continuity, so I couldn't reference that. And told me it was going to be 6 issues. Then it became 4 issues. I found this out when the 3rd issue was already scripted.
By the way, finish it.
Yeah, it was a weird experience, man. But it was some of Chris Samney's first work for Marvel.
Okay.
And he was a treat to work with. He wanted to do what he's doing on Daredevil, and instead I was giving him, disembodied people and decapitated heads, and he wasn't sure what to make of that. But it did well. I mean, it did well for Marvel, especially for a Max title. And I thought, all right, I'm in.
You got your foot in, yeah.
Well, then my editor, Warren, leaves the company. And they're like, we want a follow-up pitch. So I pitched Kazar. Everybody know Kazar?
Yeah, I know Kazar.
Has his pet saber-toothed tiger. I decided that him and Shauna have children in Marvel continuity. They should move to Paramus, New Jersey, because what kind of parent is going to raise their children in a jungle full of dinosaurs? She becomes a real estate broker.
Okay.
He's a couch potato. He's got a pot belly. He's going bald. Zabu is chained up in the backyard fighting with the poodle next door.
That's great.
They said, that's great, but you can't use him because Mr. Bendis is going to use him in Secret Invasion.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. Bendis. Mr. Bendis used him for 2 fucking panels.
Too fucking fast.
So then I tried pitching something else, and at that point, they very clearly made the impression that they weren't even sure I wrote for them. And, basically I was orphaned.
That's dirty.
Yeah, I was orphaned. So then Keith Giffen got me on at DC, and it was fun. I did Masters of the Universe, I did Doom Patrol. Then they tapped me to be on Future's End. Originally it was going to be Greg Rucka, myself, Keith Giffen, Jeff Lemire, Dan Jurgens.
Okay. That was the couple years ago then, right? Yeah.
Yep. 52 weeks, and it was, basically it was a big what-if story.
Okay.
Well, Greg walked off before we ever wrote the first issue, and you know, I stuck with it because, you know, this is money in the bank.
Yeah, it's
you
a
know?
once in a lifetime opportunity. Right?
Except that, you know, after a month of being in New York and pitching ideas and this and that, when it comes time for the contracts, my page rate was half of what I'd been promised, and it was half of all the other writers on the comic. And I said, I walked into Dan Didio's office and I said, there seems to be a mistake, and he explained that no, I'm not a known quantity in comic books.
Jesus.
And therefore, I this would be my page rate. And
So basically, what he did was when you start out in like construction, they're like, "Oh, you've not been working here long enough. These guys, they've been here long. They're not going to do anything. You're going to do all the work.
Yep,
And we're going to pay you less."
that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good
So yeah, so I walked, and because of that, I've been told by other creators I'm blacklisted there. I don't know if that's true or not, but I know I haven't been able to sell anything there since then. Not that I care, because
DC's been
Blacklisted
scrambling
it's
right
in
now.
such disarray. I mean,
Blacklisted because you didn't want to get ripped off.
yeah, you know, or you know,
He finds our pay rate unfair. He's not working here ever again.
do I kick myself? No, because
Right.
I look at what DC has become, and it's sad.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know that it's any one person's fault. I mean, I can't say Dan Didio is a bad person. I think he's trying to do
Right.
the best he can, but, you know, they've got 3 people in charge, basically, which always works well. That's why we have 3 popes. That's why we have 3 presidents of the United States, you know, all at the same time.
Too many cooks.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's been my experience that in the smaller press, like Dark Horse and Antarctic Press,
Yeah.
there was none of that. You
Image
know.
kind of has that.
Image,
Same, it's like
yep.
you own your IP. We print it. You own. You know. You
Yep.
get everybody's pretty much on the same pay rate, from what I understand.
Exactly. Yeah, Antarctic Press, they were wonderful. You know, I did a 25 issue series. They left me alone editorially. I own everything. In fact, I'll be out in LA next month, having a meeting about that, trying to get
That's
it
right.
optioned out.
I remember you telling me about
Yeah,
that.
so, you know, I look, if you're working for Marvel or DC, it's like working for Coke and Pepsi, or Google and Microsoft, and you know, you have to accept that going in the door. And if you can't accept that, it's still a fun job, despite all the bullshit and despite some of the things we've been hearing about, you know, in comics journalism lately.
Right.
Yeah.
It's sad though.
Well, it
I
is
can't-
sad. I mean,
like-
you know.
I didn't know that that's what the extent of what happened to you.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could say, you know, it had something to do with the allegations against editor Eddie Berganza, or, you know, the fact that they can't seem to understand what diversity is. I wish I could say I quit for reasons like that. I didn't. I never even got that far in to effectively try to make my own changes in that
Right.
regard. You know, I never even got that far. So.
Well, that's the past. You're working on something right now, aren't you?
Oh, I'm always working on something.
Okay. Well, you're working on something. I saw you advertise it a couple days ago because I liked your page on Facebook.
I'm always advertising something on my page on Facebook. Which one was it?
It's
The sequel to the Lost Level novel?
yes.
Yes. Yeah, that's the first draft is done. Took me about 6 months to write it, and now I'm finishing up the second draft, and then I'll send it off to the publisher.
And you're doing something with aliens?
Yep,
For Fox?
Aliens Bug Hunt.
Okay.
New in-continuity stories. The only restrictions were we weren't allowed to use the Predators, and we weren't allowed to reference Alien 3. So I think maybe
You know
they're
what?
trying to.
Me personally, I think that's a good call.
Yeah, you know, I was okay with both those.
Keep the
restrictions.
predators in their own area. Like
Yeah, I was okay with both those.
that. You bubbling? He's professional.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know.
Skype.
I remember, like, I always thought the Alien versus Predator thing would be great, and then that movie came out, and it was like,
It could have been well better done, and they could have just ended it at 1, and that would have been great. But no, they decided to make what was it, 5 movies?
What? For
Stop it! Stop it.
What is happening? What is
He's
happening?
excited that I'm here. He's bubbling.
He's bubbly for you. Oh my god. No, they made like the two. There was like the AVP and then the AVP Requiem, which I don't know how they even got funding for that. But
I never even saw it.
don't.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Not missing much.
If there's one word of wisdom you leave this room with today, it's don't watch Alien vs. Predator.
That means you.
You should get your money back if you have. Oh my god. So now you live in PA currently, but you grew up in West Virginia?
No, I grew up in, well, my family is from West Virginia, and we lived there until I was 6. And then we moved here to York County.
I'm going to have to take these notes to get the Wikipedia.
Yeah, let Wikipedia
So
know.
since you grew up in West Virginia,
Nope.
you must have met all those monsters from Mountain Monsters.
Let's keep that out.
I'm related to those monsters. But if you looked outside, it's not much different.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No,
I'm just apparently not near the portal to hell for all
you
monsters.
know, Chuck Wendig has a great quote: "Pennsylvania is Philadelphia and Pittsburgh with West Virginia in the middle," and he's absolutely right about
Pretty
it.
much,
you
yeah.
know. But, yeah, no, I stay here in Pennsylvania. I probably should move to New York or LA, like everybody else, but I don't. You know, I'm a dad. This is a great place to raise children.
Yeah, it is.
You know, it's a great place to live comfortably as a writer. You know, unless you're Bendis or Stephen King, we're not all making, you know, Bendis and King money. So, you know.
Yeah, we can't live in Maine and just write about Maine 400 times. Hi, Steve.
Again.
Sorry.
All of a sudden, this became the roast of Stephen King. All of a sudden, just out of nowhere.
I'd love to see him walk in. Like,
No, he's been roasted already. But yeah, you know, it's. I live here, and I've written 46 novels set in Pennsylvania instead of Maine.
okay, all right.
You know, it's weird. This is a fertile area for creatives. You know, we have comic artist Mike Hawthorne
Yeah, yeah.
lives in York. We've got novelists Robert Ford, Kelly Owen, Chet Williamson, filmmaker Mike Lombardo. M. Night
Yeah.
Shyamalan is like an hour away. I mean,
We should get him on here.
you should have
And
him
he
on
shows up and it's not him, and that's the twist.
here. Give him like $5 and a bottle of bourbon.
I might need to ask you to help me hook that up.
Doesn't matter what kind of bourbon.
Well, I mean, you know, he is M. Night Shyamalan. It's going to have to be Knob Creek or Booker's. None of that Jack Daniels swill. I mean, come on.
All right, fine. We'll get top shelf for him. Jeez.
Top shelf and $5, and you're
These damn
complaining.
directors and their top shelf bourbons.
But no, yeah, I don't know. Going back through history, back through the decades, there's always been filmmakers and artists and writers living in Central PA. I don't know if it's 3 Mile Island or something in the water, but
It might be because there's not a whole lot to do here. Like,
that
maybe.
could be it.
Yeah.
In Central PA, there's not much to do. Like you said, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
Baltimore,
Virginia.
Like Central PA, you're just kind of like, it's nice outside, but it's hot as fuck. I'm gonna write a book.
Is that how you did it?
Yeah, that's what I did. I got one out. I've got like 4 in the works, and I just can't get time to finish them.
If you wrote one book, okay, you're
Okay.
already ahead of 90% of the people who say, I'm going to write a book.
It makes me feel better.
So, be proud of that, dude.
Thank you.
Seriously. I mean, it's hard fucking work to write a book. It's hard work to write a 22-page comic script, to write a complete novel, and to not only finish it, but to edit it and publish it. That's something 90% of the same people who have that dream will never accomplish.
The editing was the worst part.
Oh, and it should be the worst
Because
part.
it's you being a critic of your own work, and then, like, my wife helped me.
Yeah.
But it's like, God bless her for sticking around. Because it's just like, I don't think you should have this part. That's my book! You don't know shit!
Yeah, no, if editing isn't the hardest part, then you're doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. And if your partner does manage to stick around, you're doing it right. I've lost 2 wives to writing, so yeah,
So writing.
See, you've already got something going on over me.
But you're more successful than I am. Maybe I should lose a wife, and that's how I make money.
No, because then you got alimony and child support. And,
Shit, he's right.
yeah, so
Fake my own death.
You have the note.
why do you think I do all this media tie-in stuff? You think I really want to write Masters of the Universe? I didn't watch that shit when it was on back in the day.
Like, all right, so I gotta write a story about a buff guy that wears tight clothes and then transforms into a buff guy with less clothes.
And it wasn't even that. It was. We want you to come up with the origin of Hordak. Okay, Wikipedia. Who is Hordak?
And as we see, Wikipedia doesn't always help. Oh man, who is Hordak? Can you tell me?
I'm trying to remember what we decided. Yeah, he's like this this demigod psychic vampire who lived 100 years before He-Man and Skeletor. And
Was that the guy who was like kind of like in competition with Skeletor
Yeah.
to be like the worst
I
bad guy or
believe
whatever?
so. Like I said, I've
Okay.
never seen an episode of the cartoons.
Okay.
I've never watched the movie, but it was, here's money if you'll write this. Well, okay.
I'll do your dance.
And I mean no disrespect to Masters of the Universe fans.
Right.
I mean no disrespect to fans of anything. If Twilight is your thing, then you own it. Let that flag fly.
You can let me be the one that they yell at. That's
but but it wasn't my thing. I was in boot camp when that came out, so I missed that whole thing. But yeah, we tried to Kirby it up. We succeeded. I tried to backdoor in some H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu mythos stuff.
Uh-huh.
I actually had Hordak reference Cthulhu, and it made it through DC editorial, and then it got to the toy company, and the toy company, I think the guy in charge may have been like 22 years old. He sends back notes. We can't find reference to a Cthulhu in our toys. They got like this giant list of all the toys. Are you sure he's one of ours? Well, no, actually, he's not one.
I'm giving you a chance to make a different one. We Wikipedia Cthulhu, and we don't like what's going on
we,
here.
we had to take that reference out.
He doesn't appear on the roster, so
That's
It was
totally unfortunate.
replace him with someone else, some other toy character. So that's what we did. But
Doesn't appear on the roster. We don't have Cthulhu stats. How many wins? How many losses?
the tail of the tape.
which episode did he appear in?
So, you also have your own podcast
I
as
do.
well. Now, you guys talk about horror stuff.
Well,
right?
that was the original idea.
Okay.
It started out. I needed something. Here's the thing about success. Okay, you get really successful at something, and you start to worry that you're phoning it in and nobody's telling you. You start to worry that you could write your grocery list and put your name on it, and because your name is on it, people will buy it. You
Okay.
know, even if it's shit, people are still going
I
to
know
buy
exactly what you mean.
it. With that one book. So
I'll sign this page for you at the end of the night.
yeah, what it came down to is I wanted to challenge myself. I wanted to try something I'd never done, something that I knew I probably wasn't good at. I wanted to
Hula
see,
hoop competitions.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to see if lightning could strike twice.
I think he's talking about podcasting.
Well, no, I'm talking about life in general, be it wrestling,
I
but
would
yeah,
love to see that.
what, wrestling?
Yeah.
No, you wouldn't.
Get in a ring. Him?
Yeah.
No, so yeah, I started my own podcast, and I wanted to be part Howard Stern show, part Inside the Actors Studio, but dealing with the horror genre.
Okay.
Writers, directors, actors, comics, everything. And we've been, I think episode 68 just aired this week. We've been lucky enough to have some of the biggest names in the business.
That's awesome.
I try to ask questions that, being in this business for 20 years, I pretty much know everybody at this point. And I know all the shit that never gets talked about on the internet.
Okay.
Like,
thing to know.
yeah, like last couple weeks ago, we had Jack Ketchum on.
Okay.
Stephen King's favorite horror writer.
Yeah.
People don't know Jack Ketchum. He used to be an agent for Philip K. Dick. He used
Get
to be,
outta
yeah,
here.
he used to be an agent for Robert Bloch. No one ever asks him about these things. So that was my lead question right there. What's happened though is the podcast has become just another job. I thought it would be I turn on the microphone and bullshit for an hour and then that's it, and somehow that'll make money. But no, there's selling ads, there's writing show notes, there's doing research, there's responding to all the people you pissed off and offended with last week's episode.
I just don't talk to them.
He has a long line of people that want to kick his ass.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get people that come in and tell me to go fuck myself because I didn't like Bowie. So.
We should. You don't like Bowie?
No.
Gentlemen, nice meeting you. Nice meeting you. Bye. What are your thoughts on Prince?
Oh, I have no problems with
All right,
Prince
you
whatsoever.
saved yourself.
All right.
You saved yourself. What about Lemmy?
Oh, Lemmy, he wrote like
All right.
one song that sounded the same as all the other ones. That's great.
But that was a good thing.
It was good.
It was a good song. Yeah.
Yeah, Ace of Spades was a good song. No, I've got no problem with Lemmy.
Okay.
He's fine.
All right.
I don't know. I didn't cry over Bowie like some people did. I don't know.
I didn't cry over Bowie. I cried over Prince. I broke over Prince. I had to pull the car over. I didn't weep at my own grandfather's funeral, and I was very close to the man. But Prince, because I grew up on Prince. He's been a part of my life since the Controversy album. I'm that long. So I broke.
Speaking of musicians, and we were just talking about comics, did you hear about the upcoming X-Men 92 cover is going to have flaming lips on it?
Yeah.
And the Toadies are going to make an
Yeah.
appearance
What, are they
in
doing
there?
a comeback or something?
I have no idea. I was going to be...
All right.
When I saw that, I was like, oh, well, if they're going to do 90s, I was like, why don't they do like Nirvana? And then you find out it's Magneto that killed Kurt.
See,
That makes so much sense now.
it does. I have to confess, I don't read current Marvel and DC. The last Marvel book I read was Warren Ellis's run on Moon Knight.
Which was good.
Yeah, I thought
it
was
was
brilliant.
very good.
But I haven't read anything since then. I see X-Men 92. I read theouthousers.com religiously. And I enjoy Bleeding Cool. And I see X-Men 92 mentioned on there. But is that in continuity? It's the characters from the cartoon and they're in the Marvel universe now? Or
To be completely honest, I haven't read a single page
Yeah.
of it either.
I was reading up on Civil War 2, and I'm like, who came up with this?
Yeah. It's going to be something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It makes me think that Marvel doesn't understand diversity. Or it makes me think they understand it. Civil War. Who's the only person that got killed?
In the first one.
Yeah, in the first one. The only hero that
Giant
got
Man.
wasted, Giant Man.
Yeah.
They killed the black guy, just like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Civil War 2. First issue.
Oh, yeah?
They kill War Machine.
Yeah, they kill War Machine.
but they also kill She-Hulk.
That's
so
true.
The black guy and a woman. So diversity?
Oh.
See what I mean? I don't think they understand what people are asking for.
As long as the white males are fine, people will enjoy the comics.
My eyes
That's
are-
what they think.
my eyes
That's
are
what they
open
think,
now.
I think.
I'm just picturing you like in front of like a boardroom. You're like pitching this in that suit right now.
Well,
Like, let's keep the white males comfortable.
they killed Steve Rogers, but then they brought him back.
Yeah.
They de-aged Tony Stark or some stupid shit, and then they brought him back. Giant Man, still dead.
Yeah.
They brought back the white guy that used to be Giant Man. Where's the other? Still dead. Civil War, the original one, is how many years old now? They still haven't resurrected him? I call bullshit.
That's true. And we got Gwen Stacy back, too.
Yeah.
You fucking hate her so
No,
much.
I hate that she's back because basically they had the Clone Saga thing where they brought her
Yeah.
back. She just like disappears like near the last 5 panels, and then 10 years passes, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's right, she's still actually alive." Put her in a fucking spider costume.
So that's what Dan Slott did. He brought back Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
See, he won't be watching this because he has me blocked on Twitter. So I can't imagine that he'll see me promote my appearance on your show. But I've also heard from friends that he occasionally unblocks creators who he's blocked and reads their Twitter feeds just so he can get mad and block them all over again.
Yes.
So if he does that, hi Dan.
I would love it if I got a notification that Dan Slott blocked Ryan Keene. I'm like, we have made it. Somebody famous hates me. Oh my
If that's
God.
what you're aiming for, I'm sure you'll have a lot of that after this airs.
Yes.
So.
I'm gonna get so many dislikes, guys. We're in the money.
I mean, that's how you scale your success.
Yeah.
How many haters you
How
have.
many people hate you? It's true. I'm looking at you because they hate you the most.
You're just looking at me like everybody likes him. He needs to be hated more.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, would you like to go over current events with us?
Absolutely.
All right, this is going to be fun.
It's central Pennsylvania in the summertime. I've got nothing better to do.
So summer's finally arrived.
It's West Virginia.
Well, that's what they're telling us.
Yeah, it still feels like fake spring.
Yeah, the weather for Saturday is supposed to be down to 58 again. So
God damn it. It was sleeting on Monday. This doesn't make any sense.
Wait, where? That didn't
In
happen.
Lancaster.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I got to
I
work
did hear
and it
that.
was raining.
Well, you
And
guys
I
are
talked to,
closer to the hole of hell. Over that
I
way.
talked to Christina and she's like, yeah, it was sleeting earlier this morning.
it's the
And I was
Amish. They were doing that powwow magic.
like, I thought they were too busy creating more mafias.
Isn't that's right? Rumspring is coming up soon, so
Hide your daughters.
hide your daughters. Jason's looking pretty posh today. All right, so we're gonna go into news topics. Let's start. Started off. Someone had passed. It was a week ago, but since we not always on top of it, Darwin Cook
Yes.
had passed away. Very famous. Like his art was everywhere. I think mostly with DC. I know he branched off with other things, but he was most famous for his DC work. And I think he did some. I think he had his fingers in like some of the Batman animated
He did.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep. He did, absolutely.
And it was cancer, I believe.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Apparently, it was a very quick, aggressive cancer. They announced palliative care, and I think like the next day he might have passed right after that. I can't say I knew him. I met him one time at a con, introduced through a mutual friend at a convention party, and really sweet, genuine guy. You know, no airs about him. You know what I mean? Very down to earth guy. But yeah, loved his stuff. Very distinct style.
Yeah.
You know, never a house style. You knew you were looking at Darwin Cook.
Oh yeah.
You know.
It stuck out.
Yeah.
Just it was unique because it was cartoonish, but it also had like a certain like detailed level to it.
Right.
He was really good. Like he used shading to his advantage, which
Right.
was fantastic. But how old was he? Was it 53?
Yeah. He
Yes.
was around my age, 52, 53, I believe. So,
That's too young.
yeah.
That's way too young. What do you
You
think?
guys
Bill?
got quiet over there.
While you guys were going at it, I didn't jump in.
No, go ahead, go
A
guys.
little rude.
It's your show too.
I don't know about all that. I just show up every now and then. Honestly, I can't say I knew much of his work. I probably have seen it, but just
That's
Yeah.
I am the youngest here, so it's like
If you've seen it, you'd know it.
yeah.
You definitely. would.
I was about to look it up.
Things
so I
like
don't
Batman
be
the
dumb.
animated series,
Yeah, 'cause
everything.
I fucking love.
Most of his art
Batman
is
the animated
exactly
series.
that way.
I own all of it, in fact, except for I think the 4th season where it kind of got weird. It was Batman and Robin. And I was just like,
Yeah, it got weird then.
eh,
Got very weird then.
I don't really need Batman and Robin. It's just like when Tim Burton lost the Batman franchise, and it became what was Batman Forever, and then Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
Those movies were terrible.
Schumacher.
Yeah,
Mm.
gross.
So I guess I'll move into another one, and then you can find some Darwin Cook art, and you'll
Yeah,
realize
then you'll have to show me because I know the name.
yeah.
you see
Yeah.
it. Yeah, okay.
There's something else that doesn't get mentioned were his Parker books, his adaptations of the Parker novels. I can't remember
okay.
the company he did them for, though.
Parker, not okay.
Yeah, but if you're a crime or noir fan, you know,
That's right. He did
Those
do
up.
art for crime books
Yep.
too. I forget.
No, he
his-
did the Spirit.
Yeah.
yes, the new
Yeah.
incarnation.
Was that the one that was a Will Eisner winning run, or was that before that one?
You know what? I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And it's a shame. I've got those Spirit archives, the hardcovers they did. I've
Oh,
got
yeah,
that
those are
entire,
fantastic.
Got that entire set on
He
my
did
shelf
the
at home.
art for like everything I used to fucking watch.
And-
Johnny Quest,
Yep.
fucking Space Ghost,
Yeah, there you go.
Justice League. Goddamn.
Wikipedia serves you well now.
Google Images.
Google Images.
That's,
Okay.
that's all I'm looking at.
We're
It's
not
just-
going to give it credit.
Which is sad that he passed because that Future Quest just came out this week.
Right.
So it's like a lot of the stuff, like Space Ghost is in it, Quest and all them. Like it's kind of sad to think about it.
I haven't seen any of those yet. I've talked with, off the record with Keith Giffen and Jam DeMatteis on their plans for Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. It fucking sounds amazing. I mean,
Okay.
it sounds insane.
The art throws me off a little because
Is
I'm
this
like,
the one where it's like, I think I saw them with like weapons and whatnot.
Yeah, Shaggy's a hipster, and
Yeah,
Scooby's got
looked-
cybernetic.
don't
arts.
let that throw you.
it looks
Okay.
so
Don't let that
awful.
throw you. No, don't let that throw you. I talk to Keith once a week on the phone, and I have not heard him as passionate about a comics product.
Okay, that's good. If somebody's got a
project.
lot of passion,
Yeah.
then it's gonna.
I've never heard him as passionate about something in years. Probably in all the time I've known him. He is into this idea.
Okay,
So
That
yeah.
is always a good
that'd be cool.
thing.
I'm gonna have to look through one when we get him in.
Yeah, I mean, we've got Afterlife with Archie. Why not do it with Scooby-Doo, you know?
And Afterlife with Archie, I think, was probably one of the more interesting Archie stories I've read in a while. Because it was just kind of like, really? There's zombies in Archie? Like, you serious?
That was my
That's
reaction.
awesome.
That was-
Like,
that was-
it worked, you know?
Yeah.
And then they tried some other stuff after that I was kind of like, all right, now calm down. It was like Archie and Sharknado and Archie versus Predator. I'm like, oh, calm yourself. too much of one thing can be very bad.
Yeah, but you got to give him credit for trying.
That's true. Nobody else is trying.
And you really don't.
No, you do. I mean, it's not like they're it's not like they're churning out, Civil War 3.
It's
It's true. It is something different. It's like
it's just like the other day, after we recorded, Matt showed me this video from this YouTuber called The Incredible Bulk or whatever.
Yeah.
And that should have never even been tried. Never should have been fucking tried. I wanted to throw up while watching this fucking
yeah, if you
guy
got some
talk
free
about it.
time and you want to get real sad, just search that up on YouTube.
The Incredible Bulk.
Yeah.
Okay.
What they
Search it up.
Amazing bulk.
They tried to,
Oh,
was
the
it
amazing bulk.
What the fuck ever? It doesn't matter. It was shit. Like,
right.
their like whole premise behind it was like, have you seen Tommy Wiseau's The Room?
Yes.
He tried to do it like that, like,
Okay.
oh, it's so bad it's good, but no. There was like no trying whatsoever with this.
They would have scenes where people were supposed to be driving a car, and the
Yeah.
car is drawn around them, and they just have like a CG like blue screen in the back, just like
the whole,
like-
the whole
it's
thing
like-
is green screen.
It's like
the whole
Microsoft
thing.
Paint. Is really what it is. It's not even drawn.
And it's on YouTube?
yeah.
I will have to
Yeah,
Google
you
this
have, you have
tonight.
to check it out. It's
It's rated worse than Titanic 2,
Wow.
and that was the lowest video
I forgot that
movie
even
I've seen.
existed.
Yeah.
God damn it,
I'll have to look.
it's so awful.
Speaking of movies that aren't getting good press lately, how do you feel about the new Ghostbusters film?
Well, first of all, I would point out that anyone out there who is, there's girls in my Ghostbusters.
See, I don't give a shit about that at all.
Shut up. And,
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
form a line. Next time I'm at con, it's a Wizard World or WonderCon or Scares the Care this summer, just all of you form a line. I'll be the guy in the tank running you over. I don't get the whole, oh, they ruin it because there's girls in it. There's girls everywhere. I'm
Yeah.
glad for that. I need more.
Girls.
That being said, I was not a fan of that trailer.
No.
It was, in my opinion, as a 48-year-old dude, it was surprisingly low on laughs.
Yes.
Will I go see it? Yeah, probably. But I don't have high hopes for it based on that trailer.
There was an episode that we did where I found out actually a fan redid the trailer.
Yeah.
And it's so much better.
Really?
Than the officially released trailer.
Yeah.
Which is so goddamn sad.
Well, and that's the thing. I think a lot of fandom just doesn't understand because it's very inside baseball. A lot of times, the studios and the filmmakers, like the director and the
Yeah.
producer, they're not involved in cutting the trailer. They farm this out
Yeah.
to companies whose only job is to make movie trailers.
Yeah.
And apparently all the voice actors they hire are the in a world where guy, But so it may not have even been the studio's fault that the trailer was what it was.
That's true, because was the main argument with the Warcraft trailers.
Yeah.
Because that was like, as
Was
soon as
inside
those
involved.
trailers came out, the actual studios were like, that's not what we want to convey. We didn't cut that, and then they actually
The
put a
newer
different
ones,
one out.
have
Yeah.
characters that are much more important to the story than the fucking first trailer was.
And the flip side's true too. I mean, if you saw the Batman versus Superman trailer, you may have thought, "Hey, this is going to be a good movie," And then, you know, you see actually go and see Batman versus Superman, you realize the best part was the trailer. Maybe that's just me personally.
That was exactly my wife's reaction.
Yeah?
She saw the trailer. She's like, oh, we have to see this. And then we see it, and she goes, oh my god, it's so long. Oh my god.
You can skip the film, just watch the trailer. Right?
I kind of felt the opposite. I felt the trailer was a bit boring for me, and the movie was just okay enough that I could sit through it.
Yeah.
It was too damn long. So fucking long.
I don't know. I got antsy in my seat toward the end when it was like, Martha, what did you say? Can say Martha. Oh my god, we're totally best friends.
How do you guys, did you guys see, now that we're doing current events, did you see the news this week that Jeff Johns is going to be taking over the movie end of things?
Ooh, okay.
He's sharing it with someone else from Warner Brothers, a vice president of something, I can't remember who.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess basically he's going to be the DC's Kevin Feige, you know.
Well, they need to do something. Like,
Yeah.
Because Warner Brothers doesn't know what the hell they're doing with these properties anymore.
I wonder how much time the guy has. I mean, he's writing comics. He's, you know, overseeing Greg Berlanti on all the DC television adaptations.
Yeah.
Which are solid, by the way.
Yeah.
You know, and now he's going to be involved in the movieverse too. You know, that's an awful lot of peanut butter spread, very thin on the bread.
Burnout, real fucking quick. Like, yeah, with the TV stuff, I completely agree with you. Like, Flash actually feels like you're watching a comic book because they throw everything in at you. You know, it's not like, you know, the shark. What the hell is this? The shark villain. I can't remember his name now. In Flash,
I can't remember.
Well, it's a big fucking human shark thing. So, but they don't cheap it out.
Shark.
Yeah, I was almost gonna say that, but they don't cheap it out and be like, "Oh, it's a guy in a shark mech suit," you know, to make it more realistic.
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's a fucking 2 foot tall, you know, like 2-story tall shark man.
I was delighted they brought Gorilla Grodd into it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Fuck,
And did it well, you know.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking gorilla. They didn't cheap out on it. Like, Arrow, to me, though, like, I liked it when I first started it, and then, like, it started getting too overly dramatic to the point where it got silly for me.
Right.
Because, I don't know. It's like, going into the second season, like, anytime somebody's like, oh, I spilled milk, he's like, I was on an island and I had to survive forever. I didn't have milk. It's just like, God damn it. Yeah. It was just like anything he did blew up in his face. It was just like, I want to have Christmas for my family. It's like, no, they're all going to hate you by the end of this episode during Christmas. Just don't even try. Go do more of your fucking pull-ups. Let me watch you do that. And
I like Arrow. I watch it every week, but so much would be solved if people just talked. Like the entire show, all the
That's like
issues.
90% of real life too.
And that's 90% of comic books in the 70s and the 80s.
Yes,
Remember? You know,
sometimes 5 words will solve the whole problem.
you know, Spider-Man would meet whatever new superhero they were, 3D Man in Marvel Team Up, and they'd have to spend the first half of the book fighting over, wait, you're a good guy too?
It's like when Punisher shows up, it's like a whole 2 issues of him trying to kill Parker. Then he has to be like, no, I'm a superhero. Like, oh, okay, cool.
I help people.
Yeah.
I'm not a menace like Jay Jonah says.
The other thing I hated about Arrow is everybody knew how to fight. Anyone he came across is like, oh, I'm a master of martial arts. It's like, I'm like, it's like fucking Red Line. There's a goddamn martial arts studio in every corner. Like, Jesus Christ. But, and this will segue into another topic I have here, but I really loved Daredevil. Mm-hmm. I really loved the first season of Daredevil. Let me put it that way. I got into the second season. I love everything Punisher. Did you watch all of it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I love everything Punisher. I hated everything Elektra that had, like, she seemed so just, like, glued in at certain parts, and there really wasn't, like, a whole plan with it. I hated her character.
See, I'll admit, I have a bias. You know, I was a teenager when that Frank Miller run on Daredevil came out.
Okay.
You know, so much of this stuff, I can't set aside my inner fanboy.
Okay.
You know, Daredevil seasons 1 and 2, it's my favorite of the Marvel adaptations.
Yeah.
You know, I thought they should have spent a little more time with Elektra. I don't know that they needed to do all that this season.
Right. It could have rolled over into third season.
Yeah, but the actor that portrays Frank Castle. I can't think of his name.
John Bertram, I believe.
John,
He was,
yeah.
He was
in Walking Dead.
Yeah, Sean.
Shane.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
He made that
my
role.
God.
I
Oh,
mean,
yes.
it's the best writing. I always use television because more people watch TV than read
Right.
books. You know, you look at shows like The Wire, or The Sopranos, or The Shield,
The Sopranos were
or
fantastic.
Breaking Bad. You know,
My favorite show of like all time.
yeah, you know, Walt. He's a despicable, loathsome human being, and yet every week you would tune in because you're rooting for him.
Yeah.
You know,
I believe we talked about this on the podcast. When you ever watch the show, you always liked him way more than you liked his wife, and his wife
Yeah.
was trying to do all the right stuff,
yeah,
and you
exactly.
hated her.
You know, it's the same thing with Tony Soprano. I mean, he cheats on his wife. He's terrible to his kids. He's
Yeah.
a murderer. He's a racist. He's a thug. And yet every week I tune in. I'm cheering for him, but more than that, I'm empathizing with him. I'm saying,
Right.
yeah, I get why he's doing this. And this was a long way to come back around to the writing on season 2 of Daredevil. What they did with the character of Frank Castle and the Punisher, he's the most relatable character
Yeah.
in that season. I mean, you can't help but root for the man.
Yeah.
Even if his methods are despicable, even if he's a fascist, you're still like, yeah, fuck yeah, you know.
I love
It's good writing.
that whole scene, like, in spoilers to anybody who's listening that hasn't seen it all, that I can't remember exactly the number of the episode, but the scene where he saves him from, it was after the motorcycle, the stairwell fight, and he takes him to that graveyard, and he's just sitting there, and he's just spilling out the Daredevil about his kids, and, like, you know, his wife, you know, all that stuff, and you're just like, you're captivated the entire time.
Yep.
Like, I could not pay attention to anything else going on in the house, because his portrayal and the way it was written, it was just like, it was perfect.
Yep, it's brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant writing.
Yeah, it was like that. There was probably my favorite part of the whole second season, because it's just like, and like they didn't really even have background music. It was all just ambience,
Yep.
like of the outside, and it filled it.
I agree.
It needed nothing else.
I agree.
It was fantastic. I want to live in that moment. I wish I could have been there, just like behind the tombstone.
Yeah,
Just like, man, you're fucked up. But like I was saying, this dovetails into, there's some more shows that they're talking about putting on Netflix. Moon Knight, Blade, and Ghost Rider.
I'm not sure we had gotten to it. I believe I brought it up one day. I don't think we talked about it, but they are also, someone's doing a Cloak and Dagger show as well.
Yeah, isn't that going to be on the CW or something?
I believe so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read about that.
I don't know much about Cloak and Dagger. I know he can make people teleport. She's got daggers, apparently. That's about I know.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
That's all you need to know.
I remember liking them as a teenager, but I don't think I've read anything Cloak and Dagger in probably 30 years.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, I probably haven't read any in 33 years. So. But I think it's funny that, like, Blade, like, yeah, you guys, somebody tried that already, and it didn't work out very well. You guys remember that? It was like a half of one season.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's right. There was a Blade television
Yeah,
show.
it was.
Don't recall that, actually.
Yeah, you
I
don't
think
need to look it up
unfortunate.
either. You probably want to watch The Amazing Bulk.
If they went with the idea, I don't know if people remember this. Do you remember when one of the times when Marvel was rebooting? Oh, excuse me, no, not a reboot. It's all new, all different. Remember they
Reimagining, yeah.
announced a Blade comic, and I don't think it ever came out.
No, it never did.
It was going to be Blade's daughter, and he was.
I
training
vaguely
her.
remember this.
You know, if they put that on Netflix, you get some young African American actress to play Blade's daughter, and bring in Wesley Snipes as Blade.
I mean, he's not doing anything.
He's not.
I believe the last thing I saw him, aside from Expendables 3, was Gallo Walkers. That was...
I've heard things.
Oh,
It always comes back to Gallo Walkers.
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Then you know.
Yes.
if
Don't
you want
sit there.
If you want a fun afternoon, just
Fun?
get a pizza, put on Gallo Walkers.
Like 90% of it has no fucking bearing on what's going on in the movie, which is sad because 90% of the movie should be all movie.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what the fuck was the point of the guy with like the skin that can be removed? What? Is it just for the effect of it?
It was
Is that
art,
cool?
damn it.
They
Yeah.
might have had Tom Savini for like 5 hours on set.
But no, you know, if if you brought him in, I'd watch the hell out of that.
Yeah.
And
that'd
I'd
be a
watch
good
the hell
idea.
out of Moon Knight if they did it right.
Yeah, I just can't wait for everybody to be like, oh, it's Marvel's Batman. Like, stop it.
See, that would be them not doing it right.
Yeah, exactly.
If they said, you know, this is a schizophrenic guy who runs around and beats up bad guys, I'd watch the shit out of that.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the Max, if you remember.
Yeah.
I'd like a live action version of that instead of the cartoon the MTV had. That'd be kind of neat. We could get Patrick Warburton to do that too, like the Tick. I don't know how about the Ghost Rider. I was never interested in Ghost Rider. I don't know. It was never one of those things that got my fancy, and then the movies were just terrible.
I liked Ghost Rider back in the 70s, but that character, he's quintessentially the 70s. Now, you could say the same thing about Power Man and Iron Fist, but they have found a way to update them.
Yeah.
It doesn't appeal to me. To me, Luke Cage will always have that canary yellow shirt and the band around his head.
Yep.
You know, saying things like "Sweet Christmas" as he punches somebody. But yeah, I don't know that you could update Ghost Rider the way.
I mean, you could say that, but then again, things like Sons of Anarchy are very popular.
That's true. That's true.
I'm sure there's an audience for it. You just have to, like you said, it's good writing.
Right.
I hope his bike talks to him. Shut up. Has a little red light that goes back.
Fucking kill myself.
And it's Mr.
right.
Feeney.
Or a Cylon voice.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Just tells him how
Yeah, that's what we need.
Hang on. I'm going to pitch that shit right now.
Oh, that's awesome. So, yeah, but I get what you're saying, because like the whole Ghost Rider thing was around like the whole Easy Rider time period, and
Evil Knievel and all that, you know. And plus, unlike a lot of Marvel characters, I mean, Ghost Rider is so tied into the whole Judeo-Christian mythos thing, and if you take those elements out of it, you know, I'm not sure what you're left with. Like Doctor Strange, he's dealing with made-up demons and, you know, things like that. But, you know, Ghost Rider specifically says he gets his powers from Satan.
Yeah.
You know?
right?
There's no way around that.
Yeah. I don't know that Marvel's,
It can't be a drum of radioactive material. It's
He got his
drum
got
of
it from a guy
radioactive
named
hellfire.
Stan. What? Got my powers from a guy named
it's not
Stan.
like, you know, radioactive Jesus bit him or something. So I
got it
don't,
from Rennis Center.
yeah, I don't know that Marvel Studios is ready to have, you know, Lucifer in their.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't. To me personally, I don't know how they're going to keep that interesting for like seasons. I don't know. Especially if it goes along the way they did the movies, because like I know I fell asleep during the first one. I was awake for the Sam Elliott parts. That's about it.
Yeah.
Because that mustache and his voice alone is worth being being awake.
I still don't understand that part where they rode across the desert together, and he's like, "Well, this is it. All I had was enough to go this far."
Yep. This is as far as I'll go. Yeah, he only had that. He only had enough strength to go that much farther, but then he could turn around and go back. I don't know. I don't write this shit. I'm glad I don't write that shit.
I don't either, just for the record.
You don't have to hate him for that. Oh my god, that's funny. Okay, so, and then I saw this the other day, Star Trek coming back on CBS,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's supposed to take place between the regular run and Generations or Next Generation, from what I've been understanding.
So this is old continuity. It's not tied into the new movies.
Yeah, it's not tied into the new movies. I think it's supposed to take place during the time when Sulu was captain, because it's not an Enterprise ship.
That is a little bold. That they're just gonna like.
I think it's actually a brilliant idea.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it's bold, but they're not gonna try and tie it in with the movies to try and get that synergy working.
See, because I don't think they're going to do... I don't think they should do that, because right now with the movies, it's split 50-50 with fans. Because most old fans are just like, it's not my Star Trek.
Most old fans
You know.
hated anything that wasn't Kirk.
Yeah, you know, I'm an old Star Trek fan, and I'm a hardcore Trekkie.
Okay.
But I have no problem with the new Star Trek movies.
Okay.
Is it the Star Trek I grew up on? No. But, you know, neither was half the other fucking spin-offs that they did. You know, it's
That's true.
it's something I can take my 25-year-old son to, and we can watch, and we can enjoy it together, and, you know, that's his Kirk. But I can share in that moment with him. You know, this.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
Again, that's another group of people. Line up at the next convention, and I'll run you over with a tank too.
I want to see your tank.
I know what you mean. There's so many people that are so obsessed with one thing and can't see any kind of difference.
Yeah, you know, I get that you have an affinity for a character or a franchise, and I get that it means a lot to you. But at the end of the day, you don't own it.
Exactly.
You know, Disney owns it, or Warner Brothers owns it, you know, or Fox owns it. You know, I don't read current Marvel and DC, but I've got 4 shelves of hardcover masterworks and those big, thick essential collections.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can pull one of those down and read them and find joy in my life again. You know,
That's what it comes back to.
You know, my 8-year-old can buy the new books and read those and enjoy those, and you know, I don't have to sit there and argue with him. Well, you know, in continuity back in issue 138.
Put that shit down.
You know, that's what I said. You'll never hear me make fun of anybody's fan base or franchise. You know, My Little Pony is not my thing, but I'm not going to make fun of what do they call themselves, the bronies?
Bronies.
Because it's something that's bringing them joy, man. Let them, let them do it.
Sometimes a bit too much. I can't abide that. I'm sorry.
You're gonna need a tank. There's a lot of bronies out there. You're gonna have to run
I'll
over.
man fight every last one of them.
Man fight.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't think I can title that on a YouTube video. Man fighting bronies. Might get flagged. Adult
Maybe.
content.
I don't know. You should probably be fine.
I'll be wearing this. This is no nudity. No nudity. None.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put in the blurs. Yeah. I'm not doing it frame by frame either.
When he said he's going to be wearing this, you notice he just pointed to the tie.
Yeah,
Point
this is
at the whole
true.
suit.
This is true. Valid point.
So back to something serious. You have a charity that you run all the time.
Well, I don't run it. Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm involved.
You're
with it.
affiliated
Yeah,
with it,
I'm
yeah.
involved with it. Yes, the Scares That Care charity. It's a 501c IRS approved organization. Basically, every year they pick 3 families: a child with terminal cancer,
Okay.
a child who's been horribly burned, and a woman struggling with breast cancer, either after or during. And all year we raise money for them. And it's a way for the horror community, readers and movie fans and video game fans, comic fans to give back. Horror, it gets such a bad rap. I mean, we're the redheaded stepchild of publishing, of comics.
That's nonsense. There's
No,
so many great things that come from horror.
There are.
But it's overlooked.
There are, but
Yeah,
it's
there is.
overlooked, and every time there's some kind of tragedy, the first thing they do is they
They
go
blame
through
the
their
violence
bedrooms and they were watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they were reading Brian Keene books, no, I've had that happen.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even joking. I won't. There's one that's public, the BTK Killer. Read my
Okay.
books.
So there's that.
You
Yes.
obviously were
Well,
in
thanks.
complete-
I'll point out BTK started that shit when I was still in high school, so I don't know how responsible I am. But horror gets looked down upon, so it's a way for the community to show that we're about more than that.
It can help.
Yeah, and there's so many good people involved. Kane Hodder, who plays Jason in the films,
He's my favorite.
He's a big supporter.
Yeah.
Ken Faree is a big supporter. I'm a big supporter. Every year I give them my time and do what I can to promote the charity. And every July they have a big charity event. They call it a charity event. It's a convention.
Okay.
Big fan convention. Meet your favorite actors. This year they've got, for example, they've got a cigarette smoking man from X-Files, William B. Davis. So, you can get your photo taken with him and then come over and I'll sign a book for you and then you can go through their haunt and, it's
That's really
just
cool.
a really cool thing, man.
That's awesome.
So,
Man.
but I'm not the organizer. Yeah, I'm just
Okay, so you're just
I'm
big
just
promoter.
one volunteer and a big promoter. So.
okay. What do you gotta do to volunteer for that?
Well, you go to scaresthatcare.org and I believe there's a drop-down tab for volunteer. So,
What do you guys think? I know it's probably too late this year, but
for the convention?
yeah,
Probably too late for this year,
Yeah.
but yep.
maybe we'll get it next year. That'd
Yeah.
be cool. We've been wanting to do some charity work too.
Yeah,
So
it's a great charity to be involved with. It really
Okay.
is.
maybe I'll have to get with you on that and get some
Yeah,
information.
and I mean, you know, they take donations all year. It's not just the convention. You know,
Where does it take place?
the convention itself is in Williamsburg, Virginia.
Oh, that's not that bad.
No.
Yeah, it's like a 5-hour drive.
We
from
could all
here.
pile into my small car. You can sit behind Will, so you
So
have no
Will can
weight
put the
leg
seat
room.
all the way
I
back.
was gonna say you're gonna make me slide up, so I have to bend my legs. What do you-
One
wrong with
fucking
you?
inch.
This is every week.
That's all I'm asking for,
This
man.
is every week.
He wants to have the seat all the way back.
Move the seat up, or he's just going to be wearing this. Look at it, he just flips the tie and
I
stares
saw
at you.
that. Yeah.
Oh my god! Well, this was a fantastic episode.
Thank you for
you
having
so
me,
much
guys.
for
I
coming
appreciate
on.
it.
Would you like to let everybody know all the places they could find you at?
Yeah, BrianKeene.com, KEENE.com, and you know, I'm on the Twitter and the Facebook and the Instagram and all that shit. My new novel, The Complex, is out now in paperback and ebook, soon to be audiobook, and my new novel, Pressure, will be out next month, June 21st.
Oh,
in
awesome!
hardcover.
Congratulations.
Pick those up, and I can afford groceries this week.
Well, I'll tag all of what you said in our annotations down below, so
Great.
be all in links so they
All
can
right.
get to it and everything else. So,
All right.
and as like I just said, all of our information also will be down in the annotations, and I'd love to have you back on again if you'd love to
Anytime.
come on.
Anytime.
All right,
man.
that's
well, now that we've
fantastic.
figured out I live 15 minutes away from
It's so easy. I mean, I would even love if you wouldn't care me like us coming on your show once
Yeah.
or whatever. That would be great.
Hang on one moment.
Yeah.
Text my attorney. I need a restraining order. Yeah, no, absolutely. You guys, you're welcome on any time.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to set that up.
Now, in June, I head out nationwide tour. So
Okay.
June through August, I'm not going to be here.
That's fine.
But, you know, come September,
So
absolutely.
we'll show up and you won't be there.
Yeah, if you guys want to feed my cat, that'd be
Knock on the door. Brian, we're
Brian's
here.
cat. Open the door.
The cat Brian's kid. Oh my god, that's funny. Well, thank you so much again, and thank you all so much for listening and watching, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Peace.
Bye.